They told him he didn't belong until he showed them the deed to his own dream. Before we begin, take a moment to hit that subscribe button, because every story we tell here on Wealth and Wounds is a voice for those who are silenced and a reminder that truth, no matter how long it takes, always finds its way home. Pushpin click this link medium skin tone hand pointing right at wealth_wounds. The morning sun spilled gold over the quiet suburban lawns of Willow Creek Estates, a gated community built on manicured perfection. Sprinklers hissed, birds sang, and somewhere between the sound of leaf blowers and children's laughter, a new family arrived. Marcus Reed, 36, pulled up in a navy blue Ford F-150, his wife Danielle beside him, their 2 kids asleep in the back. Their dream had finally come true. Home ownership in a neighborhood they'd only ever driven through before. As Marcus stepped out, sweat glistening on his forehead, he took in the 2-story house with the grey shutters. It wasn't just a home. It was proof that all those years of overtime, saving, and rejection letters hadn't been in vain. "This is it, baby," he whispered, holding Danielle's hand. "Our kids are gonna grow up here." But across the street, behind lace curtains, eyes were watching. 3 neighbors stood by the mailbox, whispering, smiles tight, posture stiff. "Are they moving in here? I didn't see a listing for that house. Maybe they are renting." Marcus didn't notice. He was too busy helping his daughter out of the truck, laughing as she stumbled over her stuffed bunny. That joy, the kind that comes only from new beginnings, would soon collide with a reality he thought he had escaped. By evening, Marcus had already met him, Richard Collins, the HOA president. Richard showed up without an invitation, clipboard in hand, eyes squinting behind gold-rimmed glasses. "Good afternoon," he said, his tone polite but cold. "I just wanted to welcome you to Willow Creek. We try to keep things consistent here." He glanced around the yard, at the slightly dented toolbox, the old cooler by the porch, the kids' chalk drawings on the driveway. "We like our properties to reflect the community standards. Just a friendly reminder." Marcus smiled, trying to meet tension with grace. "Appreciate that. I plan on keeping things nice. I'm a contractor, actually. Fixing homes is what I do." Richard froze. "Oh, you're in construction?" "Own my own company," Marcus added, calmly. "Reed Renovations. You've probably seen some of our work downtown." But Richard didn't respond. He just scribbled something on his clipboard and nodded curtly. When he left, Danielle stood on the porch, uneasy. Why did that feel like an interrogation? Marcus forced a laugh. Because it was. 2 days later, a letter showed up in their mailbox. A notice of violation. Infraction. Unauthorized commercial activity on residential property. Marcus blinked. He hadn't even unpacked all his boxes yet. He marched to the HOA office that afternoon. Behind the counter sat Nancy, a secretary who didn't look up from her computer. "Hi, I just got this notice." "Name and address," she interrupted. He gave it. She typed for a moment, then looked up with a thin smile. "Yes, it says you've been seen performing contract work from your property." Marcus laughed in disbelief. "I fixed my door. That's it." "Well," Nancy said, shrugging, "we received multiple reports. Maybe talk to Mr. Collins." Marcus exhaled slowly. He wasn't going to let this ruin his first week. He'd worked too hard to lose his peace. But that night, when a patrol car slowed in front of his house and lingered, his son asked, "Dad, why are they staring at our house?" Marcus didn't have an answer. Weeks passed. Every time Marcus cut his lawn, someone took pictures. When he washed his truck, someone wrote to the HOA about commercial vehicle storage. When Danielle hosted a barbecue, a complaint came about loud gatherings. Richard called an HOA meeting. Marcus went. The room went silent when he walked in. "Let's keep this civil," Richard began. "We've had concerns about." "Concerns?" Marcus interrupted, voice calm but firm. "Or assumptions?" Richard smiled tightly. "We all follow the same rules, Mr. Reed." Marcus stood, voice trembling but steady. "I own my home. My title deed says I belong here. You don't get to decide otherwise." A murmur rippled through the room. One woman, Ellen, a retired teacher, spoke up. "He's right. He pays dues like the rest of us." Richard shot her a look. "This isn't about race," he said defensively. "Funny," Marcus replied. "I never said it was." That night, the HOA issued another notice. Marcus recorded it this time, every interaction, every word. Something told him this wasn't just neighborhood politics. It was personal. If you're feeling this story, if you've ever been told you didn't belong somewhere you earned the right to be, then subscribe right now. Because these stories, these truths, deserve to be heard. Pushpin click this link medium skin tone hand pointing right at wealth_wounds. One Saturday morning, Marcus was tightening a railing on his porch when a black SUV pulled up. Two uniformed officers stepped out. "Sir, we've received reports of an unlicensed contractor operating a business from this residence." Marcus blinked. "Come again." They walked past him, inspecting his truck, taking pictures. Danielle came out, terrified. "What's going on?" Marcus showed them his ID, business license, and property documents. The officers exchanged looks. "You're fine, sir, but maybe take it up with your HOA. They're the ones who filed the complaint." When they left, Marcus' hands were trembling, not from fear, but anger. He looked at Danielle and said, "They're trying to build a case that doesn't exist." That night, he uploaded the security footage online, the visits, the notices, the harassment, and it went viral. Days later, a local reporter showed up. "Mr. Reed, we'd like to talk about what's happening in Willow Creek." Within hours, the story hit national headlines. Black homeowner harassed by HOA despite owning property. The HOA panicked. Richard called an emergency meeting. "You've embarrassed this community," he snapped. Marcus placed a folder on the table. "You said I didn't belong here. You said I was breaking rules. But here." He slid a document forward. "That's my title deed. This property was legally transferred from a developer, signed, sealed, and recorded. I didn't rent this house. I built the foundation it stands on." Silence. For the first time, Richard's face faltered. Marcus leaned in. "I was your contractor, Mr. Collins, before I ever became your neighbor." The HOA resigned in disgrace. Marcus became a local advocate for fair housing, speaking to news outlets and community groups. But the story didn't end there. A month later, Marcus received a letter in the mail, unsigned, typed, and chilling. "We see you. You don't belong here." He looked out the window. The same gold-rimmed glasses glinted from a nearby car before driving away. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wealth and Wounds. Because stories like